Buhari's nepotism was worse, says Shehu Sani. Shehu Sani defends Tinubu amid northern backlash. Let me read just 2 or 3 paragraphs here. Former Senator Shehu Sani slams northern elites, criticizing President Tinubu, saying they kept quiet when Buhari filled top positions with his Katsina brothers. 30 federal appointments went to Katsina under Buhari. Where was your voice then? He fired. Sani wants Tinubu not to repeat Buhari's mistakes, but cause out the sudden outrage from those who once benefited. Barrister, honestly, when I read it, I didn't know. We had 3 federal appointments from Katsina alone under Buhari. I didn't know that until now, even though that's not my focus here.
31 federal appointments, not 3.
Oh, sorry, 30 rather. Yeah, 30 written here. Sorry, not 3. 30 federal appointments. Man, that was outrageous. Yet, of course, if I didn't know about it, that means people didn't. There was no outcry, because if there was any form of outcry, I could have obviously read it, but I could have known about these 30 appointments from just one state, federal appointment. It was unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Now, Tinubu is towing the same line. Look, I understand this issue of, okay, you've become something, you have a position, you are in a position of power, not just power alone as a politician, but you have a company, and you feel that you need to be there for your people, for your relatives, or for people close to you. There's nothing wrong there. But the problem is, like someone like me, some people do not bring in their relatives in their business. Me, I'm not of that opinion. My own, I'm of credible people. I don't believe in, no matter who you are, if you are my relative and you are competent to handle my business, you are competent and you have integrity, you are principled, you have my trust, you can do it. If I believe you can do it, I don't care where you came from. Whether you are Hausa Fulani, you're Yoruba, you are Igbo, you are my relative, I'll use you. I'll put you there. I'm a very, very destabilized person when it comes to doing the right thing. I don't care about my own, is just standing on the right path, doing the right thing. So the nepotism of a thing, I criticize it if it is done, if it is not based on credibility or competence. Because in the case of Buhari, that was the case. In the case of Tinubu right now, that is the case. Appointing people, appointing round pegs in square holes. So that is my point. That's my problem. That's where I criticize nepotism. Generally, I don't criticize nepotism. My own nepotism, criticism of nepotism, from my own opinion, on my own side, is dependent on scenarios. So I don't have a blanket criticism of that. Barrister, what's your thought on this?
This issue, you have had some disagreement. I condemn in blanket form any form of nepotism, particularly for a country like Nigeria. Now, first of all, you have to make a difference between private business and politics, then government appointments and business. Of course, if you are running your private business, you want to bring in the very best from wherever they are for the interest of the business.
Yeah, but country, the same thing is patriotism now. I should run.
No,
you should run your country as your company. That's patriotism.
There is a difference. There is a difference here. In running the country, you are doing political appointments. We are at a stage in the country where we want to build a country. A lot of people don't even regard Nigeria as a country. They just regard us as having been put together. We need to build a country. And in building a country, we need nationalism and patriotism. To that extent, and coming from our history of the domination by 3 tribes of the rest of the country, there is need, if we want to build this country of our dreams, to give everybody a sense of belonging. Let me feel from my little village that I can aspire to any position in Nigeria. Let me feel from my little village that in this civil service, I can aspire to the top. Let me feel from my village that in the military, if I enter, based on my ability, I can go as far as I can. But that is not the situation in Nigeria. And that is why some of us criticize nepotism. When you come to Nigeria, knowing its diversity, knowing its sensitivity, both political and religious, and you now choose to appoint people from your place and camouflage under the guise of competence, which we don't even see. Because at the end of the day, at the end of 8 years, we don't see the competence manifesting in actual progress anywhere. You just tag, I'm appointing competent people. In Nigeria today, you can find competent people everywhere in Nigeria. So if we need to build this country of our dreams, if we need to instill patriotism in people, we must make sure, open the space to everybody from every corner, even the smallest tribe. Let people aspire based on competence. Let them have the hope that as long as I'm working hard, as long as I'm competent, I can go far. That is not available in Nigeria. And that is why the issue of nepotism becomes very important. Any leader coming into the country must ensure, and it is in our constitution, federal character, the framers of the constitution, even at independence, recognize the diversity of Nigeria. They recognize that monopoly of power, monopoly of positions by one group is to the detriment of the rest of Nigeria. That is why they put the issue of federal character in the constitution, so that you make sure that the whole thing, political posts are spread throughout the country for the benefit of the largest majority. When Buhari came, he does not understand this type of thing. He had never, even through his service in the military, through his being head of state, through his contesting president repeatedly, he did not know people outside his cycle of Katsina friends. He had no friends anywhere in the country, apart from his few people, friends from his state in Katsina. Apart from the fact that a country like Nigeria does not need such a ruler, he came with a definitive pronouncement. If you remember, as soon as he took power, he categorically made a statement that those who did not give him the vote, 5% of vote, should not expect any appointments. If you remember, yes, he came out even before making the appointments to prejudge. So you will know that it is not competence that was going to drive his appointment. It's purely nepotism. He said it and he put it into practice. Every conceivable major appointment went to their people. And the effect is that in the context of Nigeria, the benefits of those appointments inure to his people. It does not spread all over the country, to the detriment of and this is public treasury, which everybody contributes to. So why would you now carry everything and give to one place to the detriment of others? If you appoint a minister from your place, 37 federal, 31 federal appointments, those ones appoint each of them five domestic aides in that office. Multiply it, you are getting about 150. And you can bet your life that those will also be from that place, or at least majority, a good majority will be from that place. Then take the multiplier effect of that one. When employments come, when opportunities for employment come into those agencies, ministry or parastatals, you can also bet that these people will have a disproportionate infusion into that. That is why we are against nepotism. That is why I criticize Buhari for that nepotism that he did. And now I'm criticizing Tinubu for the same thing, following the same. Now it was not the Muslim, now it is the Yorubas who are now taking over. Anytime you see somebody has been removed, just look at the next name. It is a Yoruba person that is coming into it. This is not good for the country in any particular, in any material particular.
Yeah,
I am not one to support such appointments.
Yeah, but the problem is, you ask who will then stop it, because someone started it, a region started it, and the other region, anybody who comes in wants to do the same, it kind of revenge. Everyone is on revenge mission. They did it to us, we'll do it back. It has become a cycle, a vicious cycle.
Becoming a cycle. Now, what happens to the regions that will not get the power? What happens to my own people that maybe they are so small they cannot get the power? What happens? So this is the reason why we must criticize this type of. If Buhari did it wrongly, are you under compulsion to follow the wrong step?
No.
Why can't you show that you are different? That you have really come for the whole country. You really want to carry the whole country along.
You and I know that when it comes to this issue of tribalism, nobody does it better than Yoruba man. They are the worst of it. I'm telling you. It is easier for an Hausa man to employ an Igbo man to run his company than for a Yoruba man to employ an Igbo man to run his company. I'm telling you. You and I know this a sort of. So it is just like that. But again, back to my point. You and I are not on the same page in this. Honestly, on this matter, I differ with you. Again, I stand on my own opinion, on my own preference. I don't see why we are having this debate, this argument. Why probably some people, including yourself, and have negative opinion of this nepotism of a thing. In my own judgment, in my own opinion, I rather don't even call it nepotism. No, I call it nepotism if it's yielding. I gave into that word nepotism if it's yielding negative results. If it's a negative result, but if it is positive result, that nepotism sounds negative to my ear. So I wouldn't target nepotism other than just look at the result and let the result speak for itself. A sort of. So again, I stand on my opinion that I'm not against nepotism. I'm against nepotism in negative light, and I'm for it when it yields positive. So my own, it depends on it's relative. My criticism of nepotism is relative. But unfortunately, this issue of nepotism has not been working for Nigerians, because all we have seen in the past, including during the Abacha regime, where he didn't appoint his children during military, but his children were so powerful that they were manipulating so many things or whatever. We saw what happened with nepotism. But even at that, Abacha, at least as a military man, he still tried his best and did better than his predecessors with regard to infrastructures and develop government administrations and government developments here and there. But under democratic dispensation, just like you said, this issue of a federal character, yes, there's nothing wrong in having this federal character. Again, I'm neither here nor there on this federal character. I am just on the fence. I still believe in competence. You said it well. Actually, there is no part of Nigeria where you will not find whatever you are looking, whatever competence you are looking for. There is no part of Nigeria where you can't find that. But let me be frank with you. While I agree with you 100% that competence can be found in any part of Nigeria, I do not. My problem with that is there are competencies that you need at a point in time that that may not be at your disposal. There may be one peasant person in the village. There may be it may be someone who is not politically known, who is not known by anyone, but a genius who can handle that. But because you can't find such person, you have to. So what happens? I bet you scenarios like that comes up, because when a need arises, you can only make decision. You can only decide and make appointment based on the options on before you. So that is why I'm always of the opinion that you just decide based on what is expedient, what is necessary, what has good potentials, on principles and credibility and integrity. If you base your opinions on this, it doesn't matter who that person is, where he's coming from. Okay, you talked about people like the minorities. If we don't go all in for what is it called, federal character, the minorities will lose out of it. Look, the Igbos that is one of the majority. They have been losing out of political power since the inception of Nigeria. Not even since the inception of Nigeria, since before the amalgamation self. They've been losing. They've been losing political positions or power or authority from the inception of Nigeria, before it became it became Nigeria. But where are they today? Are they not the most successful? Look, it is not about who is there representing us, but it is about who we are as a people individually. Individually, the Igbos are the most successful. They are the richest. They are the most progressive people in Nigeria. Yet, they are the most deprived of authority of governance or position of governance. So it is not. So that basically, my point is, now the people that even the North that have people representing them, that have been having people representing them since the inception of Nigeria, even before the creation of Nigeria as a nation. What has been their fate? Are they doing better than other regions individually, and either individually as people, or as a region, as an entity and region? Are they doing better than other regions? No, they are not. They are the worst region in Nigeria. Yet they have been the one in the position of power, having people dominating the entire governance. So it is not, I don't believe in you must have a representation up there for your people to live a good life. Barrister, honestly, I stand on my position. Nepotism or no nepotism, I don't care. I don't criticize nepotism in its fullness. I'm neither here nor there. My criticism of it is just relative. And that is it. And that is not our problem. Our problem is, the problem is not nepotism. Our problem is the mindset. Our problem is just the foundation. That is just the reality.
Let me add that I made the point that we are building a nation. In that nation building, nepotism is not the right way to go. People feel why is Biafra now seeking exit? Is it not one of the reasons being that they are marginalized?
Yes.
That's one of the reasons that is pouring the Biafra struggle to exit Nigeria. And once you are building a country, you should be sensitive to the feelings of other nations. We are not yet a grounded country, even though we are 60-something, we are not yet a grounded country. We have not built the stable foundations that we can be proud of as a country. For that reason, that was why federal character was imputed into our constitution, to give everybody a sense of belonging, to make people not to feel alienated, not to feel marginalized. But we are seeing it, and we are seeing the physical effect of it. Biafra is complaining. Before now, when Yorubas were denied June 12th, they said they were marginalized. They wanted to go out of Nigeria. So the sensitivity of this issue means that any leader should be careful instead of trying to call people only from your place. Try to make things go round. Give people all over the country a sense of belonging. That's what I'm insisting. It is the disproportionate appointments. If they are just marginally more from your place, people will not complain. But when every bit of important position goes to your people, it becomes an issue. It becomes too disproportionate, and the marginalization becomes more revealed in point of fact. We should walk away from that model and see a more nationalistic approach to issues. Let everybody be everybody's keeper. Let's be our brothers' keepers. Let's have the project of Nigeria. Let everybody own the project called Nigeria. That's what I'm driving at.
All right. Anyway, like I said, you and I have different opinions on this, but that's fine. That's allowed. I understand where you're coming from, and I also understand where I'm coming from, and that is just the reality. The problem we have with Nigeria in the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian case, is just the issue of its mentality. That's just it. That's mentality. Otherwise, I don't see it anything. Now, just like we have current government, of course, I criticize this nepotism is not yielding us anything. So I vehemently criticize it. Based on what we are having right now, I criticize it. I criticize that of God. We know what we got from Buhari's nepotism. It was a complete, total failure, and that's exactly what we are getting here. So, and that is about nepotism in itself. I don't have generally. I don't criticize it, and that's just it. It's relative.